Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video, and today we will be reacting to a video called The Funny History of Weed. Let's get straight into it.
Some warmth and wanted to start a fire when they discovered a funny looking green plant, and either out of curiosity or desperation took it and inadvertently created history's first ever hotbox. Yet this early grass was not
Niggas talking
that
about hot
loud
box
that
and
people
stuff.
be smoking today, because as we know, over the years the Zaza has been scientifically and
hmm
artificially cultivated to be much more concentrated in the high it gives. So although it is funny to think about a group of cavemen purposely starting a fire in a small shelter for the sole purpose of getting faded in a hoe, it is unlikely that it actually ever happened. Yet aside from this iffy recreational stint in
No, what's crazy is I wonder who came up with the idea of rolling a blunt. If cavemen didn't know what, like tobacco leaf was that they can roll it in, who figured out like that ooh, we can roll this up and put this in here? That's wild.
Japan, hemp was first commonly used in the lands that are modern-day Mongolia and China for more practical uses like eating it. Which, after saying
Eating
that, you
raw.
might be imagining something like this. Yo, what's up? How you doing? Had any fun with those new seeds I gave you? Yo, nah, I actually came here to give them back. Last night I was looking at them. Wasn't the reality because the
Well, let
THC
me tell you,
levels
I
in
don't know
this
if y'all
early
can hear it or
cultivated
not, y'all.
Zaza were just really low. But soon the Chinese would discover that the holy plant's fibers were also great for making stuff too, like clothes, paper, and bowstrings. Which turns out hemp fibers were superior to the bamboo ones used by rivaling factions, allowing the Chinese to shoot their arrows much further. So basically, back in the day, if you were having a long distance bow battle and were losing, you might have screamed out, "We need to get closer! These motherfuckers have weed!" Anyway, it wasn't long after when mofos realized
So you telling me, mhm, you mean to tell me that they're using the za to okay stairways, man? I don't know if that was za, man. I don't
that
know.
the loud wasn't only good for making stuff, it was also great for treating physical maladies.
Uh-huh.
And after a couple thousand years, Emperor Shen Nung, known as the father of Chinese medicine,
hmm
included the magic plant in his medical encyclopedia.
Do you see his? What is on his head? Ooh, what is on his head? What is on? I don't know. It was like ears,
Under
bro.
the name Ma.
Bullshit.
Which, that sounds oddly similar to
Green
Za,
plant.
doesn't it? I'm guessing every couple thousand years the first letter changes or something. But now, let's explore the question we're all asking. When exactly did mofos start ripping that shit to get
Yeah.
faded? Well, one of the earliest counts is about 2,500 years ago, when researchers discovered 10 mini barbecues in a cemetery near modern-day Tajikistan that
So you're telling me they're just barbecue things just sitting there? People are barbecuing on other people. Okay.
had residue of burnt cannabis with a much higher concentration of THC than normal, probably meaning it was selectively bred to get you, well, lit. Although this was one of the first counts of people purposely inhaling the broccoli to get high, it was most likely
Barbecuing za by someone's grave just to get. Okay.
used
That's
as part of a
wild.
ritual to invoke an altered state of mind, so you could communicate with spirits. Which shit, dog,
Mm.
I wanna know what these dudes were smoking, cause I ain't never heard of no grass that gets you to the spirit realm. This might have low-key been the last
Bro,
Kush Snoop Dogg smoked, cause once you get so high you start communicating with your dead gran,
literally.
that's when you really might be like, okay, I think it's about time I stop smoking this shit. But although smoking from mini barbecue sounds cool, what's even cooler is
What?
doing it from the CBD bro glow in the dark BONG. And
Okay.
right now, for every BONG purchase, you get a free grinder of your choosing. So if you've been waiting for the perfect opportunity to get yourself some CBD bro gear, then right now is that time exactly. Just click the link in the pinned comment or description and get yourself the ultimate late Black Friday deal. But now onto the video. Since cannabis for one reason or another proved to be quite the useful plant, people started trading it around the world as soon as it was domesticated.
hmm
Which the only people who didn't really fuck with the Zaza were Europeans who preferred getting hammered instead, which is low-key reflected in modern times too, especially in the northern countries where once you turn 18,
Which one do y'all think better? Do y'all think getting fried or drunk is better?
you can drink as much poison as you want, but if you want to blaze, well, you might be looking at a little bit of jail time, my boy. But now let's quickly go over the
But that's
use.
crazy for drinking. Sometimes people don't look on at jail time. Some do. Well, because for Zod, some don't, some do. Because it's illegal and some it's not. So.
Of cannabis throughout different cultures, so we can move on to the modern age, starting with Hindus. They made
Mm.
something called bang, an edible cannabis paste that had medicinal properties, but also got you high. This could be added to a variety of foods and drinks, which this bang was the preferred food of the Hindu god Shiva,
Niggas
making
is
him, in
eating
my
this.
eyes, the god of edibles. Disclaimer, that was a joke. Islam. Here the Za was called hashish and was introduced about 1,000 years ago, which hashish wasn't strictly forbidden in the Quran at first, so a lot of Muslims ate it for its medicinal and relaxation properties. But later, Egypt basically banned it, and also the Quran was revisited by many and reinterpreted to include hashish to be banned just like alcohol. The
Whoa.
Vikings. These dudes basically used the Za to make rope, sailcloth, and other things, but also for its medicinal properties.
Making ropes and clothing others has how does it stay together? I don't know. That's wild though.
Mostly to relieve pain, and to date, there's no hard evidence that they consumed it for its recreational use. But, maybe they should have, because they were quite the horrendous savages and murderers, so it might have made them think a little bit about peace and love. But what about America?
Me trying to figure out like it's
England and the actual global world powers, how did they react to weed? Well, again, like the Chinese, Europeans and Americans at first prominently used the magic green plant in the 16th to 18th century for more practical things like making sailcloth and rope,
wow.
which the plant itself grew much larger in the New World soil, and combined with the practicality of it, everything started being hemp derived.
Y'all gotta recognize the people that built these things were literally actually made and built different back then. Cause I don't know in this day and time who's building something like that. If you are, congratulations. You won. You got it. We don't want no smoke.
Clothes, paper, well, basically anything that required fibers. But the question still remains, when did mofos start smoking that shit to get blasted on the regular?
Yeah.
Cause although at some point you, your neighbor, your grandma, your boss, and even George
Everybody
Washington
can
were out here
blast them.
growing weed, wasn't nobody out here rolling them up. Well, until the arrival of Mexicans. The loud version of hemp first arrived in Brazil in the early 1500s by way of enslaved Africans traveling with the Portuguese.
Bro, talking about Mexicans and bro, this is all okay.
And the native South Americans who are already consuming some other psychoactive substances quickly started blazing the Zaza too, and its use soon spread across South America and into Mexico, from which in the 1910s is when the loud first spread into the US, via Mexican immigrants escaping the effects of the Mexican Revolution.
Yeah.
And almost immediately, the good was viewed as a
It
threat,
just gets
and by
banned.
1931, 29 states had banned its use. Although it wasn't really the Zaza that the US didn't fall with, it was unfortunately mostly just
What?
racism against Mexican Americans and black citizens of the South, which both these
Bro, they talking about Zod cars. Wait, what? I don't
groups
know,
were
bro.
enjoyers of the Za to some regard,
No.
so it became a scapegoat for racial bias in the US, and they blamed it for everything from petty crimes all the
What?
way to murder. And in 1937, the US completely banned all non-medical use of weed, which all of this kind of explains why the mostly peaceful plant has been thrown in the same Schedule 1 category with full-on life-destroying substances like heroin and cocaine.
Yeah.
But thankfully, a couple decades later came the hippie movement of the 1960s to 1970s. This is what lightly sparked a comeback for weed, because unlike before,
How
when
though?
the Zaza was mostly smoked by Mexican immigrants and black citizens
Uh huh.
who the US was massively racist against, the hippie movement had middle-class white American youth start blazing too. Which it was all
No.
about love, peace,
Yeah.
spirituality, non-violence, and of course, every hippie's favorite, recreational drug use. Although most hippies were all about peace and love, that was quite easy to say when most of them were literally privileged enough to drop out of college, run off with Cassandra in a rainbow van, go on copious amounts of mindset-altering trips, mostly powered by LSD, and
Yeah.
then return 10 years later to their parents and have them say, "It's okay, son.
Oh, you thought the video was still going? Nah, it's done. Peace though.